Mr. Dixon, Chairman of the Board of Education, Dr. Wallace, Superintendent of Schools, members of the Board of Education and Administration of the Cheshire Public Schools, parents, relatives, and friends. On behalf of Ms. Burzik and Ms. Gallagher, the faculty and staff, welcome on this glorious evening to the 42nd Annual Commencement Exercises, the graduation of the Cheshire High School class of 1996. I'd like to invite everyone to stand at this time and join us in honoring our country as members of our senior VIPs sing our national anthem. Thank you, ladies. Please be seated. At this time, I'm going to ask Ms. Burzik to come up and say a few words about the flags that you see in front of you. Ms. Burzik.
Welcome to class of 1996, parents, teachers, administrators, and friends. The presentation of flags represent the many countries that our exchange program at Cheshire High School sponsored during the current school year. Our exchange program ranges from 1 year to short-term cultural visits. The members of the countries included are being brought forward by members of our exchange program, student sponsors, the Student Senate, and class officers. They will give their flags to Ms. Gallagher. The flag bearer for the country of Italy is John Balish, former senator and member of the Senior Activities Board, class of 1997. The flag bearer for the country of Uruguay is Kyle Ojakian, class of 1998, and a current senator. The flag bearer for the country of France is Melissa Chacha, Vice President of the Student Senate and class of 1998. The flag of Canada is being brought forward by Justin Carroll, President of the class of 1999. The flag bearer for the country of Great Britain is being brought forward by Courtney Gremmelsbacher, Secretary of the Student Senate and member of the class of 1998. The flag bearer for the country of Spain is being brought forward by Marco Ferreira, a Spanish exchange student very popular class of 1997. The flag bearer for the country of Germany is being brought forward by Amy Baxter, class of 1997, and a current sponsor of a Japanese exchange student. The flag bearer for the country of Japan is being brought forward by Shiho Amiya, class of 1997, Japanese exchange student. These students have enriched our student body, and we are very honored to have them here with us. Receiving certificates of attendance for the exchange program this year are 4 students. The first student is Marco Ferreira, exchange student from Spain. The second exchange student is Shiho Omiya, exchange student from Japan. The other 2 students from Japan, Muchimo Yoshi Okoa and Kanaya Motsukuzaka, are not here tonight because they've become such members of our class that they're actually out on family parties. So we're happy anyway to be able to give these certificates to them. I want to thank the teachers, the students, the chaperones, and especially the members of the Foreign Language Department for their support in the planning and implementation of this program. Thank you to the parents and the very loving host families who took such good care of them during their stay. We appreciate your continued and generous support. Dr. Nagel?
As you can see already, there are many symbols that are attached to our high school. 2 that are very special to each of the senior class that graduates are their class shields. This was a tradition that was brought to Cheshire High School by Dr. Chesley, and we thank him for that tradition because it has quickly become a very meaningful one to our school community. At this time, I'd ask Dr. Chesley to please join me at center stage. These shields stand in the middle of the senior courtyard all year long, and they mark the senior courtyard. What we do at this time is to entrust them to 2 members of the senior class. They are to guard them with their lives, and they get them from now till death do they part. And their charge is to take care of them as they symbolize the spirit of their class, and to bring them with them to any class functions and alumni reunions. So at this time, I would ask Brian Allen and Andrea Bodette to please come forward. To now formally begin this evening's festivities, in terms of speakers and such, I would like to present the first speaker for this evening's celebration. And she is Kathleen Pollock, the class president, who will introduce to you the men and women of the class of 1996. Kathleen.
On behalf of the class of 1996, I would like to welcome you to our graduation ceremony. At this time, we would like to announce our class gift to the school. The class of 96 proudly leaves Cheshire High School with a new portable sound system, as well as body microphones for use by the theater department. The class of 96 will also proudly leave Cheshire High School with many records of accomplishment in the areas of academics, athletics, and the arts, success has been achieved. Before you tonight, we have 6 National Merit Scholarship finalists, students who have earned over $85,000 in local scholarships and grants, 19 members of a football team who went through 4 years of high school without ever losing a game, championship swimmers, golfers, baseball, soccer, and tennis players, actors and actresses who have participated in our coming-of-age theater program, talented musicians who are part of an award-winning band, and all the other hard-working members of our class who have made their own special contributions. However, these outstanding achievements would not have been possible without the support and dedication of all of you sitting in the audience tonight. Thank you. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the evening.
Thank you, Kathleen. It is traditional at these kinds of affairs to recognize the top scholars in the class. At this time, I'm proud to formally present to you the salutatorian of the class of 1996, Michael Macy. Michael graduates with a grade point average of 4.037, and he is the son of Michael and Linda Macy. If Mr. and Mrs. Macy would stand up and be recognized. Michael, we're certainly proud to award you with this plaque commemorating your status as salutatorian of the class of 1996.
Experience is the name so many people give to their mistakes, or so said Oscar Wilde. Well, after 12 years of education, it would be quite an egregious offense to regard this culminating experience as just another mistake. Wilde's definition of experience shows cynicism and self-regret, 2 sentiments that are undesirable at best. For if there's one thing that these quick 4 years of high school have taught us, is that we do not have the luxury of time to continually second-guess ourselves. Nor should we enter upon any endeavor while regretting what might be. Rather, we should live free of any pretenses, basing our evaluations purely on merit. Yet even if we do have lapses in judgment, our mistakes are to be sincerely appreciated. So when we do try new things, we should not be cynical of our efforts. We should not be afraid to experience. And in this vein, on behalf of all of the graduates, I would like to thank all of our family and friends who have helped us to truly experience each day.
Thank you, Michael. Continuing with our theme of academic symbolism, I'm now proud to introduce to you Ms. Judy Gallagher, one of our assistant principals, who will explain to you the meaning of the cords that you see around the necks of the graduates.
Part of my function this day is to talk to you about colors, colors at commencement. I invite you to look at the colors that you choose for this special day. I invite you to look around at the many colors of the hoods that members of the Board of Education, the administration, and the Cheshire High School faculty wear. These are colors that they wear around their necks. They symbolize the schools that they went to and the field in which they got their degrees. For example, some of our board members and faculty wear hoods with golden yellow because golden yellow represents a degree in science. Just as they wear colors around their necks purposefully, so do many of the members of the Cheshire High School class of 1996 wear cords around their necks purposefully. Tonight, selected students are wearing cords with their graduation gowns. Each cord signifies that the student has met criteria for an honor society. There are 10 honor societies represented. I will read the criteria for each society and ask the students in each society to stand and to be recognized. I will begin with the National Honor Society, represented by the gold cord. Members of the National Honor Society have met the following criteria. They have maintained an academic average of 3.5 or better. They have maintained an exemplary record of character, leadership, and service. I ask the 30 students wearing the gold cords to stand and to be recognized. The Art Honor Society is represented by the black cord. Members of the Art Honor Society have met the following criteria. They have maintained at least an A- average in 2 consecutive art courses. They have successfully completed an advanced art course during the semester of selection. They have been nominated by a member of the art department. I ask the 5 students wearing the black cords to stand and to be recognized. The Business Education Honor Society is represented by the brown cord. Members of the Business Education Honor Society have met the following criteria. They have maintained at least an A average in 3-semester business education courses. They have ranked in the top 20% of the senior class. I ask the 12 students wearing the brown cords to stand and to be recognized. The Drama Honor Society is represented by the gold and white cord. Members of the Drama Honor Society have met the following criteria. They have maintained at least a B average in theater courses. They have been instrumental in maintaining an educational and successful theater program. I ask the 11 students wearing the gold and white cords to stand and to be recognized. The English Honor Society is represented by the royal blue cord. Members of the English Honor Society have met the following criteria. They have maintained at least a 3.5 average in English courses over 4 years, the last year of which must have been completed at Cheshire High School. I ask the 27 students wearing the royal blue cords to stand and to be recognized. The Foreign Language Honor Societies are represented by the blue and white cord for French, the red and black cord for German, the red and gold cord for Spanish, and the royal purple cord for Latin. Members of the Foreign Language Honor Societies have met the following criteria. They have maintained a high average in 3 previous consecutive semesters of the foreign language. They have successfully completed the 3rd year of the respective language with a consistently high average. I ask the 10 students wearing the blue and white cords, the 6 students wearing the red and black cords, the 24 students wearing the red and gold cords, and the 12 students wearing the royal purple cords to stand and to be recognized. The Mathematics Honor Society, Mu Alpha Theta, is represented by the silver cord. Members of the Mathematics Honor Society have met the following criteria. They have maintained at least a B+ average over the 3 prior semesters. They have successfully completed Level 1 or Advanced Mathematics courses. They have been nominated by a member of the Mathematics Department. I ask the 16 students wearing the silver cords to stand and to be recognized. The Music Honor Society is represented by the pink cord. Members of the Music Honor Society have met the following criteria. They have maintained at least an A- average in the selected music course. They have maintained at least an A- average in music courses in the 5 preceding semesters. They have maintained an exemplary record of character, leadership, and service. They have been nominated by a member of the music department. I ask the 18 students wearing the pink cords to stand and to be recognized. The Science Honor Society is represented by the green cord. Members of the Science Honor Society have met the following criteria. They have successfully completed 5 years of science or 4 years of science if an honors or advanced placement course is included. They have maintained at least a 3.5 average. They have been nominated by a member of the science department. They have had their selection endorsed by one other member of the science department. I ask the 21 students wearing the green cords to stand and to be recognized. The Social Studies Honor Society is represented by the red and white cord. Members of the Social Studies Honor Society have met the following criteria. They have maintained at least an A- average in social studies courses during the semester of selection and have a cumulative semester average of at least an A- in social studies courses during the 3 preceding semesters. They have maintained at least a B- average in all other subject areas during the semester of selection, as well as a cumulative semester average of at least a B- during the 3 preceding semesters in those other courses. They have been nominated by a member of the Social Studies Department. I ask the 23 students wearing the gold and white cords to stand and to be recognized. I ask the audience to join me in congratulating all students who have been recognized as members of the Honor Societies.
Clearly, this is a class of some academic accomplishment and achievement. But even among these, there can be only one. And that is the class valedictorian, ranked #1 in his class, with a grade point average of 4.301, Paul Chang. Paul is the son of John and Nancy Chang, and Paul, I'm happy to award you this plaque commemorating your status as valedictorian of the class of 1996. If Mr. and Mrs. Chang would stand now and be recognized. Paul.
Today, I think we find ourselves generally feeling relieved or even euphoric that our high school careers are drawing to a close. But as we look intently toward the future, we realize today is also the proverbial day marked for reflection. Perhaps with our perspectives tempered by maturity brought upon by our graduation, we ought now look back and see our high school years as both enjoyable and highly rewarding. And while we do credit our families for encouragement and support, it is the faculty of Cheshire High that we must largely thank for the quality and depth of our education. We thank the custodial staff for their often unrecognized dedication and the administration for effectively and adeptly managing our school affairs. Specifically, we also thank our class advisors, Mrs. Allen and Mrs. Leppy, for their successful organization of our class and its activities. Yet finally, it is the teachers in general who must receive the bulk of our appreciation, having instilled within us the knowledge and skills we will all need and apply in our respective futures. Ultimately, any success that we do encounter will be due as much to the foundations they have helped us here build as to our own personal merits. It is with all these acknowledgments in mind that we graduate today, grateful of our past, yet eager for our future.
Thank you, Paul. At this time, I would like to invite to the stage members of our senior VIPs once again to sing a musical selection for you entitled "I'll Be Seeing You." Thank you, ladies. Our VIPs were accompanied this evening on the piano by Jessica Yu. Each year, a member of the senior class wins the right to speak at graduation to and for his or her class. This year's speaker I described in a recent newspaper article as a young lady who was a character with character. And her classmates, I think, know that to be true. But I'm pleased to introduce to you tonight the senior commencement speaker, Gina Conti. Gina.
Bear with me, I'm a little short. As we look back on the past 4 years, we all wonder where the time went. At one point in time, we were at the bottom of the pile. Frosh, the then seniors, called us. We told ourselves when we were seniors, we wouldn't act like them. In no way would we be like them. Here we are, though, and in many ways, we resemble that senior class and each and every other graduating Cheshire High School class in our diversity and togetherness. Through it all, we have been together. The tragic death of Melissa Bono, our freshman year, will be in our memories forever. For those who knew her well, she was a friend. To those who didn't, it gave a realization of how valuable and precious life really is. She is here in spirit, standing alongside the rest of her graduating class. During our freshman year, many of us wish we could go back to our younger, simpler days of recess and kickball, when the harsh real world seemed miles away. There was no going back, though, and as the year went on, we were to see many new things. The football team went undefeated for the first time in years, and we learned that our principal would not be with us in the years to come. Then, suddenly, we were sophomores. We began the year confused. We weren't new anymore, and we weren't graduating. Well, what were we? Was it just another year of being at the bottom? To the naked eye, maybe, but to us, we weren't lowly freshmen anymore. We thought, we're great. We moved up, and hey, we deserve a little respect. Eventually, we realized we weren't as big as we thought we were. And as the confusion subsided, we went on to have another exciting year, full of myriad experiences. The football team went undefeated again, and by the time June came, our new principal was ready to leave. Come on, Dr. Chesley, were we really that bad? Then came junior year. Who could forget it? It was our turn for the prom at the Stillwood Inn. As we entered, we saw the beautiful Gail Karate in her most sensible ensemble. It was the first time I had seen her when she wasn't sitting at her desk, writing a referral or getting involved in a hallway scuffle. And of course, how could I forget the football team going undefeated again? Senior year began with anticipation and excitement. We had a new principal, one who has somehow broken a record and stayed longer than a year. All in attendance at the prom at the AquaTurf beheld Dr. Nagel and his most sensible ensemble. Also, who could forget the senior meeting when Miss Allen told Connor Coleman she was sure he could pay for everything. Last but not least, the football team went undefeated again. Now here we are at the end of our senior year. Who can believe it's graduation time already? 1 year from now, each of us will be in our own situation, living our life away from many of the people we have grown up with. We will all go on to be doctors, lawyers, teachers, or maybe work the family business. My fellow classmates, I believe that it is important for all your future endeavors to continually strive for success. As General Colin Powell once said, there are no secrets to success. It is the result of preparation, hard work, and learning from your failures. During our summer vacation, we will spend our time with our closest friends, only to have memories of our CHS years. As August rolls around, we'll go our separate ways, perhaps with only memories of our closest friends. It is important that we all remember to work hard and make the most of the years ahead. My fellow students, don't be afraid to make mistakes. Learn from them, as they will only help you in the long run. As Theodore Roosevelt once said, the only man who never makes a mistake is the man who never does anything. You are only as good as you want to be, and only become what you make of yourself. The world is full of opportunities. Well, we finally made it. Graduation day 1996, the moment we've all been waiting for 4 long years. We always knew we'd look back on the tears and laugh, but who knew until today that we would look back on the laughter and cry? As Dr. Nagel once said, let's get it on, because we did it!
You're right, Gina. Let's get it on. Ladies and gentlemen, the laws of the state of Connecticut require that I formally present the class of 1996 to the Superintendent of Schools and the Board of Education. Dr. Wallace, Mr. Dixon, and members of the board, I have the honor and the privilege to present to you the 266 members of the Cheshire High School class of 1996, who, having successfully met the academic requirements of the state of Connecticut and the Cheshire Board of Education, are entitled to receive their diplomas. I charge the graduates to live up to the responsibilities and the values inherent in these diplomas, to be good citizens, to bring reason to a too often irrational world, to bring compassion to a world too often torn by hatred, to build a bright future for yourselves while being tolerant of the differences of others, to be contributors to your town, your state, our nation, and our global community. Dr. Wallace.
Thank you, Dr. Nagel. I want to say that I never thought, well, I wouldn't say I never thought, but we had doubts about standing here tonight underneath a glorious sky. I want to tell you a little story. I talked to Dr. Mel on Channel 8 yesterday, and I said to him, you got a very worried superintendent on the phone here. I'm wondering what our chances are. And he said, they're not very good. And I said, no, I am talking about tomorrow night, Friday at 6 o'clock. And he said, Dr. Wallace, enjoy the graduation. Not a problem in the world. I tell you, from now on, we got to listen to Channel 8 more. I want to say, well, first of all, good evening, everybody. Congratulations, graduates. And on behalf of the Board of Education, thanks to parents, teachers, administrators, and everybody who in some way contributed to the success that we recognize tonight. I'm going to begin tonight with a short anecdote. Just bear with me. A lady was driving through the Vermont countryside on an absolutely gorgeous late afternoon near the end of summer. Into her view came a breathtaking scene. A vast green planted field bordered by the tidiest of stone walls that ran across a low valley down to a hillside of white birches and towering pines framed against a perfect blue sky. Off in the distance was an immaculate farmhouse with a barn and outbuildings so well cared for that they begged to be photographed or painted. She stopped and she got out of her car and walked over the stone wall, not far from where the farmer had just gotten off of his tractor to check his rig. Struck by the beauty of the scene and emboldened by her proximity to the farmer, the lady commented, "Aren't you lucky that God gave you all this?" "Yes, ma'am," the farmer replied. "My family and I give thanks to our Creator each evening. But you should have seen this place when God had to take care of all of this by himself." On this 42nd Cheshire High School graduation evening, I tell you this story to illustrate my central message to the graduates. Take responsibility for your own success. The great success of this country is founded upon initiative and persistence. The early history of America was charged with risk takers with a fiery spirit and a clear sense of purpose. Of course, they collaborated and cooperated. In short, they helped each other. But unlike today, these people didn't wait for comparative studies and outside approvals before taking action. Too many people today are inclined to wait for good things to happen to them, a kind of the world owes me a living approach to existence. For many, that phrase has become, the government owes me a living. Well, I've got news for these people. Any living that we gain from waiting for things to happen to us will be a meager one, unsatisfying and nourished by very bitter fruit. In contrast to this dependent view of life, look within yourself for guidance. Use your head, but listen to your heart. I love the phrase, go for it. It speaks to me. It says, be bold. Don't hold back. Take a risk. It's now or never. I have never interpreted go for it to mean go for it only if the conditions are right. Go for it only if everyone approves. Go for it only if it is politically correct. Go for it only if all the cost-benefit studies are positive, or go for it only if all the polls are favorable. I began with a fictional anecdote of a successful Vermont farmer. Let me conclude with a local story about a Cheshire High School graduate who sat on this same football field 10 years ago in 1986. And my spies tell me she's sitting out there in the audience tonight. You have all seen the little coffee shop called Marissa's Cafe, tacked onto the end of that little strip mall across from St. Bridget's Church. There were a lot of reasons back in March of 1995 why Marissa Valente should not have decided to go for it and open up her own business, a little boutique coffee emporium. Perhaps the biggest detractor was her own youth. and of course, that old compatriot of youth and experience. Add to this a poor foot traffic location on a cramped strip mall with inadequate parking, along with other inhibitors such as startup costs, to say nothing of the fact that the conventional wisdom was that boutique coffee shops are not right for New England. They're a West Coast kind of thing. With all of these negatives, maybe we get a little insight into how Marissa Valente saw things, just like that Vermont farmer did before he partnered up with God on his farm. Today, however, Marissa's Cafe is a real Cheshire hotspot. Now, there are no guarantees for the future of this little coffee shop, but I'm not worried about that because Marissa Valente has clearly demonstrated that she has initiative and persistence. She took responsibility for her own success. Today, Marissa's is a successful Cheshire business, and I can only wonder what tomorrow holds in store for this entrepreneurial young woman. To all 266 of our Cheshire High School graduates here tonight, let me say to you that you have been nurtured by your families for 18 years, and you have been educated by your teachers for the last 13 years. And their contributions to you have been described tonight eloquently. You are wonderful people, Cheshire High School graduates, loved by us all, and you are graduating tonight from a truly great high school in an all-American town. Ladies and gentlemen, in the class of 1996, take responsibility for your own success. It really is time to go for it. Thank you, and God bless you all. Mr. Dixon, Chairman of the Board of Education, it is my pleasure and duty as Superintendent of Schools to certify that the student candidates presented here tonight have completed all the graduation requirements as prescribed by the Cheshire Board of Education and the Connecticut State Board of Education. Mr. Dixon, I present to you the Cheshire High School class of 1996.
Thank you, Dr. Wallace. As this day approached, I gave considerable thought and spent a lot of time thinking about what the graduating class might like to hear me say. And in conclusion, being on the board, this will be quick. Being on the board, we spend a great deal of our time working with the administration, and we deal mostly with problems. It's days like today that make it all worthwhile. This is just one stop on your way through the journey of life. I hope that all of your stops may be as pleasant as this one. Ladies and gentlemen of Cheshire High School, class of 1996, as Chairman of the Cheshire Board of Education, it is my honor to officially now recognize you as graduates of Cheshire High School with all the rights and privileges appertaining thereto.